My dear people of the United Kingdoms of Tikar, Bamenda Highlands, I greet you all. Now let us begin with this quote. A politician thinks about the next election. A true leader thinks about the next generation. In this video, we are going to analyze the intricacies in the Cameroon political system. We will also look at the controversies surrounding the Ambazonia leadership. We are also going to touch on the future of the Tikar people. Whether you reside in the northwest, in the southwest, in Douala, Yaoundé, Dubai, the United States of America, Europe, if you come from the northwest, you are Tikar by blood. Let's go ahead.
And as a son of Bamenda, I will tell you the truth. The future of the country is with President Paul Biya. The future of Bamenda and the Northwest region is with President Paul Biya. We made it the fund of funds, and it will be the fund of funds forever and ever.
To begin with, the funds of funds given to President Paul Biya is not legitimate. Our funds have been corrupted, and we know that. We will restore the true Tikar tradition as we build the United Kingdoms of Tikar. So I just want to let Minister Atanganji Paul know that the sons and daughters of this land will not fold their arms and watch this destruction over our tradition. Our ancestors worked so hard, traveled from Nubia to the Adamawas, to the Bam, and to the Highlands to build a nation where their children will grow up and have the best quality of life. In 1,000 years from now, we will still be here, and not this temporary corruption, manipulation of our tradition will be able to erase the true, authentic tradition of the Tikar people. Let's keep listening to that clip. We will have Chris Anu in this conversation as well. Look at the Ambazonian leadership. But let's finish with Honorable Minister Atanganji. My people, one of the biggest issues we face comes from the inability to have an open mind. I see this across Africa. People are stuck with old paradigms and old patterns. When the world was so bad, sin, corruption, lust, God never said, Noah, go find a group among these corrupt people and build a political career. God told Noah, go build an ark because everything around you is going down. Build an ark. I'll preserve a group of people inside that ark, that when everything goes down, I will start a new chapter with those people. The United Kingdoms of Tikar, whether you have the label called Ambazonia, whether you're part of the political system in Cameroon, the United Kingdoms of Tikar is the Ark of Noah that will free our people and preserve a generation that will last for thousands of years to come. This clip will be played 1,000 years from now, and our children and our children's children will rise up and said they had people who really cared about them and laid a solid foundation that they will enjoy for generations to come. Let's keep listening.
So now, we will do food distribution for close to 1 month, distributing food, fuel, and things like that. Coming from President Paul Biya and Mama Shankar Biya. So you have free fuel, you have to live, and you will live like responsible Cameroonians.
They say you will have free food, fuel in your motorbike. These are promises coming from the president. Again, we know this is illegal. Based on the Cameroonian law, these actions, illegal. This is the man you trust, running gangs in the Northwest. And I want to remind the population, if you do not agree with anyone, do not take their food, do not take their money. This is the foundation for corruption. If I don't trust you, I will not eat in your house. I will not take money from you. That is why some Amazonian leaders came, oh, join this group. No. I won't take money or food from you. And that should be the new culture and new standard that we set moving forward. You have been alive. You have been surviving without their money and without their food. That food and that money is very expensive. That bag of rice, that is you depriving yourself of roads in the future. That is you depriving our people from jobs in the future. That is you eating your destiny. Because when you take and eat, my brother, you weaken your moral power to even stand and fight for any cause that has to do with the liberation of your people. Away with all this fake politics. I've seen it here in this country. If these people don't agree with you, they don't take gifts from you. Even if they agree with you, they try as much as possible to limit the gifts they collect from people. They would rather choose to give than receive. True Americans that I've sat on the table with, and I have inhabit that culture. It makes you restore your self-dignity. Have some pride in yourself. And with that, your speech is not controlled. Because you haven't eaten from the devil. Let's keep listening.
Once again, I want to thank you for coming. Bamenda is a wonderful place, and that we should make Bamenda strong again. We should make Bamenda again a wonderful destination. We should make Bamenda again a big touristic destination as it used to be in the past.
I want to say, my people, they walk around now with sacks and moto. When you see the people with sacks and moto, this is what we are getting from the ground. When you see people with sacks and moto, those are in the agents from the government going around getting people to register so they can go vote. So the whole sacks and motos around know that these are agents from the government. Another thing you should pay attention to is they create fake audios. I'm going to play one of them in a subsequent video. They go around and create fake audios acting like Amber to confuse the population. So be aware and be careful of your source of information. I just thought I'd put that out there. My people, don't eat this food. Don't take this money. No matter how painful you feel like this will be for you, because you did not eat, you did not get money from the government, and some told you. I heard Ayok Sesekutabe saying, oh, take it, it's taxpayers' money. Don't take it. Don't take it. Do not take their money. Abraham refused to receive gift from a king that he did not trust. He said, you will say tomorrow that you made Abraham rich, so I won't take anything from you. Now, let's go ahead and listen to Chris Anu. You've heard that his term of office has come to an end. Right? He will no more be an interim president or president of Ambazonia, because his term of office has come to an end. I have some serious issues with what is going on with this entire Ambazonia initiative, and I felt that way from the start. I have studied great liberation movements that I still remember today, and I said, these are not liberators, these are politicians. And again, politicians think about the next election. True leaders and liberators, they think about the next generation. Let's listen to that clip.
I took over this leadership, ladies and gentlemen. Our movement was in crisis. Our house was divided. Instead of one interim government, there were four, each faction shouting, each claiming legitimacy, each pulling the people in different directions. Instead of fighting the enemy, they fought one another. Our people lost faith, momentum slowed, and the world began to doubt whether we were serious about liberation. I swore from day number one that I would not be another power-hungry leader adding fuel to the fire. I swore I would serve only a single term of 3 years and hand the baton to the next leader chosen by the people. My tenure began September 26, 2022. It ended September 25, a few days ago.
I want to start by saying any liberation movement that has term of office, my people, I don't trust that. Che Ayaba, they had the same thing going on. I don't trust that movement. Any liberation movement where you see people using politics as a strategy to liberate a people that have been in bondage for more than 50 years, I don't trust that movement. This is Chris Anu, who was in connection with Issa Churuma Bakari, and Issa Churuma Bakari says he is his best friend. As he is leaving office, what happens? We are seeing his alliance with Issa Churuma Bakari towards an election in Cameroon. And this man was out to liberate Ambazonians. And this is the kind of movement they said I should look for one group and join. And our people, those who believe that their liberation will come from people who are old because they know better. Tomorrow, when your children are suffering, life is hard, I want you to have the courage, after you watch this video, to tell your children that someone like me showed up, provided a better way forward. You rejected it. because God always provides a way. People either choose that way or reject it. Tell your children tomorrow, have the courage to do that, because we will build, and those who will walk with us will walk with us. Tomorrow, have the courage to tell your children that there was an option that could help me preserve a future for you. I rejected it because I was trying to go with what is comfortable, what I had known from time immemorial. I chose that. Let's keep listening. There's a lot to learn in this video, a lot, because we are going to bring in Tibo Nagi, and you will hear the same Chris Arnold that is now saying division was something terrible, right? Defending division at the time. He loved his position so much. Let's keep listening.
I could have chosen, ladies and gentlemen, differently. I could have clung to the chair. Why, you ask? Because I have lived and seen with my own eyes that the power of unity. I remember those early days when the interim government stood as one leadership, one treasury, one voice, and one flag. Let us not deceive ourselves. The heights we reach in this struggle, the momentum we gain, the recognition we attracted, all of that was built on the back of the interim government functioning as a single entity. The world took us seriously because we were serious with ourselves. But when this unity set in owing to some leaders choosing corruption over accountability, choosing fraud over transparency, when some choose to sit tight and crown themselves presidents, kings, and queens over Amazonia, the interim government fractured. And with that fracture came disaffection, alienation, dwindling resources, and the erosion of credibility.
When I questioned this strategy, some told me the reason why they like the idea of different presidents is so they cannot corrupt all. And some went along with that. Now, what do we see today? People don't have the best interests of their people at heart. Leaders don't. Leaders. Because if you say you have 3 years in office, what does that say? In 3 years, you'll be out. This is not America. We don't practice democracy in a liberation. In a liberation movement, you don't practice democracy, my people. Older people know better. Those who have age and numbers know better. We don't practice democracy in a liberation. This is a battle. Some said it was good, so you can corrupt all. How come Chris Anu steps down? We see him with Isa Churuma and the daughter. Because if they have term in office, they will never have the liberation at heart. That is facts. A liberator is someone that pushes through to the end with their people. That is a true leader. A politician will talk about term in office. They are so corrupt in such a way, they had to break up and have 4 presidents in a country and had term in office. And we still trusted a movement like that. If you are still wasting your time, anything without leadership has failed. Forget. You can have soldiers every now and then attacking, but if we are not coordinated, if we are not united, have a story, a vision, strategy, leadership, and a people willing to unanimously follow leadership, we have failed. So if these structures are not set in place, anything you see, my brother, you can have soldiers in this corner of the county, or you can have soldiers in Mezam or in Bowie or in Momo. My people, anything without structure, you will turn around and end up in La Republic to Cameroon. And the future doesn't look good for us. I played the video of Asa Churuma sharing his story of 22 years of the pain those in the north have gone through in this country because of an attempted coup on the president's life. There is no forgiveness in this country. That forgiveness that you're rendering to Asa Churuma Bakari, again, it will not be reciprocated. Some human beings are just so terrible. And if you don't understand, the Francophone culture is terrible. We might have this over here. We know how to forgive because of our culture, but that doesn't exist over there. Let's keep listening.
The enemy did not defeat us. Our divisions weaken us.
Let's go ahead and listen to Tibor Nagy talking about the same issue. And I remember reacting on a video about this. And he tried to make sense of the idea that they should remain divided. And many in our community bought that. They said it was a good strategy. Now what happens? Not only are they divided, they have term in office. My people, you think every soldier on the ground needs to die for you to believe that the Ambazonian cause has come to an end? This is the first movement we are seeing in our lifetime. Take your time and study other movements. Study what has happened. We will have remnants. Today, we still have Biafra, right? But what is happening? That energy and momentum in the Biafra land, my people, from inception is not there anymore. But there has always been attacks coming from Biafra with the hope that the movement stays alive. But the original founder and the leader compromised, did the same thing. Came back and ran as president in Nigeria. Maybe you don't know that story. The founder of Biafra, he ran away from the country, came back and ran as president of Nigeria before passing away. Go read that story. And so today we are just seeing the shadows. But you've seen Nnamdi Kanu, you've seen many others emerge, but the movement is dead. And the spirit that Biafra had from inception, you will never have that again. When the leader compromised, left the movement and joined the Nigerian government. You get it? You don't try to get into that kind of system to redeem it, to fix it. My brother, you dissolve it, build a new house and move people inside that house. With this, all that fight of the Southwest, Northwest, we don't have it anymore. With this, we don't have all of those controversies and fights over power, because the ultimate goal is liberation. But let's keep listening.
Division within the southern Cameroon's populace again and again and again. But won't you agree that, just as you've quoted Ethiopia, won't you agree that in every conflict or movement such as that of Cameroon and the southern Cameroons, you will always have divisions, isn't it? For example, In apartheid South Africa, they did not all agree. People like Chief Buthelezi, though they wanted some rights for the black majority, were fraternizing with the white minority. Even in the USA, when they fought for a free America, there was a faction who would prefer to remain with England. So you have in the Southern Cameroon struggle, I think basically the same kind of division. And so I believe to expect that everybody in the leadership comes under the same tent and agree on the same principle is kind of unrealistic, isn't it?
However, in the United States, even as
he said it was unrealistic. So this is a fresh vision, my people. If you want your children to live in a community that they will be proud of tomorrow, quit the Amazonian game as fast as possible. Most of these guys were hungry for power. They were politicians. They were looking at the oil and resources in the Southwest. They mentioned that in almost all their videos. That is what Che Ayaba was preaching. Siseko Ayoktabe told you to collect money from the politicians, but don't sell the cause, take the money because it is taxpayers' money. And I'm telling you today, don't take money from anyone you don't agree with. That includes politicians. No matter what Atanganji Paul and Paul Biya promises you, because power might shift and Paul Biya might win, or Isa Chiruma might win. If Paul Biya wins, the power might transfer to Ngongo, and Atanganji Paul will still be in charge. And they can manipulate the election and deprive Isa Chiruma of this election, just like what happened with Ninjom Fronti. That might still be the case. No matter what happens, don't desire to stay in this country. If you think a leader from the Francophone zone will emerge and solve your problems in the Anglophone zone, wake up from that dream. I've listened to all of them speak. Their interest is not in solving your problem. Their interest is to guide you towards what they think and feel is good for you. That is their thinking. They know what is good for you, even though they don't know what is even good for them, but they claim to know what is good for you. This problem will last for decades to come. And if we make adjustments right now, display before the world we are people of character, everything can shift 360 really fast. But let's keep listening.
you say a majority of the Americans actually wanted to stay with Great Britain, the rebel side did have a command structure. They did have a political hierarchy. So for me,
the rebel side had a command structure. They had a political hierarchy. There was a leader, George Washington, that led Americans through that revolution to the end. They hear this, my people, because of ego, hunger for power. They discard it, come back into the community and look for ways to convince us to continue with this madness. Let's keep listening.
Again, I'm speaking just for myself, but for the Anglophone Cameroonians to provide credible alternatives, they really should present a unified side, a unified structure, so that, you know, it's the same people that show up, whether it's in London, whether it's in Washington. And as we all know, we have to speak reality here in Paris. Because as long as the Cameroonian government can say, oh, it's a bunch of divided, you know, this person represents 100 people, this person represents 200 people, and oh, by the way, this person, all they do is kill school teachers, you know, who want to try and teach students. So, you know, I'm just being practical, because
he's just being practical. And not only that, their story their facts, their strategy is not persuasive enough before the international community. And by the end of this video, I'll go ahead and still read the case that you present before the international community to have international support. And yet with that, it's not guaranteed. But our people have to embody this perspective because it is the truth. Let's keep listening.
Because members of Congress are not going to have time to see 12 different spokespeople for the Anglophone Cameroonians.
That is what he was told. We can have you guys, sometimes you sit back there and blame white people. My people, stop blaming white people. I've lived among these people, not just working in a job, right? Sit in circles where we think on ideas. If they were bad people, even their own systems will not be working. Your people will not still be running to their countries to find opportunities if they were bad. If you are in America and you feel bad about this country that has provided safety and refuge for you, when they are repatriating people, they will pick you because whatever you think on will affect you. Even the Bible tells you to bless the land that feeds you. I've lived with these people. They have love for their people. Our people are wicked towards us. And these people come to do business. They will sell us for anything. Put the money in their pocket while we remain in abject poverty. And they have deceived you all these years that the white man is really your problem, so that you don't get to look into their character and why they treat you this way. That is what Africans are going through. That is the confusion and dilemma. Just tell the individuals living in this country, oh, the problem is the white man, so that they won't look at the leaders, the people that are supposed to lead them. If the problem is the white man, they should have the same issues in their country. Their countries should not be working, but they love their people, and I've seen it firsthand. Our leaders, no. And you need a fresh mind. Start on a blank slate to build something that works, and not try to get a broken, complicated, confused house and try to amend it. That is why the Tikar story is very important. Our migration journey is very important, because this is how Ireland got their independence, as indigenous people of Ireland. And Britain could not hold them anymore. Number one, a story. The first African state to restore itself before colonization. This is true restoration. From the time our people were raided as slaves to colonialism to today, we are restoring our sovereignty and dignity. That is our story.
I pursued unity with such tenacity. I believed, and I still do, ladies and gentlemen, that if we could bring the factions back together, we could consolidate our resources into one treasury, managed with stringency and transparency. Imagine the power of one structure, one account, one budget, one plan, where every dollar, every franc, every sacrifice of our people is used strategically for liberation, not scattered across competing groups. Collaboration only.
Chris Anu stood before Tibor Nagy and debunked this advice that he's giving right now. Look for every example in the book from South Africa, Ethiopia. He looked for every example in the book to justify division. Politicians. Again, I know you listen to this video, some will change their mind, while others will say, no, there's still another way to make sense of another individual you're probably having hopes in, that individual. There is no Ambazonian leader that is not a politician. And again, a politician thinks about the next election. A leader thinks about the next generation. Started with the teachers and lawyers before Ambazonia hijacked it into a liberation movement. Today, my people, we have gone past teachers and lawyers, Ambazonia. Now is the United Kingdoms of Tikar. And if you want a future for yourself and your children in your lifetime, you join. If not, go find some faction and join and continue for the next 10, 15, 20 years. We will be here. Let's keep listening.
Comrades, please tell me, how do you collaborate when 4 different men and women sit at the same table, all answering to President of the interim government? What kind of absurdity is that? I ask them again.
Chris Anu never said this when he was the president. This is only coming out when he's stepping down as the president, cooperating with Isa Chiroma Bakari after thousands of our people have lost their life. We don't see no clear plan as to how he will negotiate with Isa Chiroma Bakari and stand firm on what the Ambazonians were requesting. Because, my people, you cannot make this up. If you don't care about the people, you can't fake it. It's just a matter of time. If you're not a liberator, you cannot fake it. Not everybody was born for this job. Takes different kind of energy. I mean, like, I've dived into the spirits of those who freed mankind. Those individuals, my man, when I look at all of this, nah. Yeah, when I look at most of these, your leaders, no. But somehow you believe it's the way, it's age, it's experience. They've written the best. We believe that the best has come already. Anything coming after is less. If it's according to us, Facebook, that is it. Nothing is coming better after Facebook. Now AI is here, artificial intelligence, ChatGPT. The world is progressing. We believe the best is behind. People who are making progress, they believe the best is yet to come. And so with that, we are stuck mentally in our communities. Until we dissolve this mental barrier, there is no way to make progress. Try hard. You will defeat yourself through your own thinking. But let's finish the video to the end. Remain glued to your screen, because we will read the argument that you start embodying about our story. Fair? So let's keep listening.
Again and again, how do you expect the world to take us seriously?
We will listen to Tibor Nagy share with you that unless Anglophones are treated fairly, this problem will never go away. Because the next individual will come in, they will not meet your needs, and you will start grumbling again. Because they don't have what it takes. Because the heart to see the people free, they don't have it. They don't understand your problem. Because the history they have been taught even about this country is not the history that you believe about this country. So they don't have the moral foundation to even help you. Everything else is politics. Let's keep listening.
Focusing on different areas, but overlaying all of this, of course, is the ongoing problem that as long as the Cameroonian government treats the Anglophone population as second-class citizens, the problem will never go away.
As long as the Cameroon government treats the Anglophones as second-class citizens, this problem will never go away. So this election is just a temporary safety, relief. It is going to resurface because they don't have what it takes. Let's listen.
Talking to, do they really have real power? Do they have representation? Do they have a constituency? We can talk about surveys, but who knows the correctness of the data that's behind the surveys?
Those who were talking about the survey Cardinal Toomey did. So that is Steve Onagi saying, how do we know this survey is legitimate? What is the credibility of that survey? Right? Because you can put 100 people together and do a survey, 1,000 people and do a survey. And then you use that survey as statistics. You see what I'm saying? There are many issues, my people. Like some of the issues I'm tackling here. How the Southwesterners feel about the Northwesterners that Poncha sold us. They never address this. Let it slide. Oh, these are black legs. These are divide and roll. And so we don't even think to solve real issues that are affecting us. Oh, Mojili, Ninga, slave. We don't take time and address these issues. We say, let's just move on and build a country. Infighting. Oh, no matter what, let's just go on. If we have them unite, they will bribe that one person and the struggle is going to crumble. Let's go along with that division. Oh, this is us. Our young people have the idea of Pan-Africanism in their mind, and this is distracting them from building their country. We don't step up and say, oh, which African country has really helped you? Why do you have this idea in your mind? Which African country has mobilized troops and say, oh, let's go help these people? None of them are competent to help you. Yet, you can't work hard to build your own place. You're hoping that somehow you unite as Africans. That is when they will help you. When they can't help you. When you are fighting and dying every day. Just of recent that you heard some African countries started talking about this crisis. Look at the nations. This Tibo Nagi, this is an American. Tomorrow when you listen to the way he speaks. When you turn around, you say the white man doesn't want to hear you, because that's what they turn and do. When they show up before the wall and they are incompetent, lack what it takes, their story is fake, because we think this is the best among us. So based on international standard, they should be accepted. And when they reject their argument, they turn around and tell you, oh, white people don't like us. No, go work on yourself. Go work on your arguments. And that is what I did. I look at the arguments that they were presenting before the international community, their structure of leadership, and I question everything myself. And some of you can say it's black leg. No, most of them, they are incompetent. They are your best, but they are incompetent when they meet the best globally. That is why in Africa, those leaders are great, but you see them before other leaders, they can't speak as they do when they are before you. They talk about their resources and not you. They don't talk about the talents, the potential that you have, and how we can utilize that for the good of the world and the good of the community. They don't do that. And then when they come before you, they tell you, oh, white man don't like me. That has been the cliche, the strategy they've used for a very long time. And we are rising up today to see that this argument, you can go on with it. Fair? Let's listen to the end. If white people don't care, why would this white man dedicate his time throughout this crisis? Which African have you seen dedicate their time like Tibo Nagi throughout this crisis? None. Which African country has sent a delegation? Even the African Union, they sent a delegation. They stopped in Yaoundé, ate their food and went back. But we've had the UN, we've had the US in the suburbs to see what is going on. And then they will turn around and tell you, these people don't care. They are the ones corrupting our leaders. Don't trust them. And then they turn around and tell you, oh, they don't like us because we are black. Hell no, you can't play that card anymore. You can't just throw that in my face anymore. I will tell you, show me what you presented before the white man. And when you show me, I will tell you, no, if even me, I will not accept this. Do you get it? Even me, I will read this, it doesn't make sense. The story contradicts itself. It doesn't sound real. It's confusing and complicated. And buying this is just promoting disorder around the world. Because if you can write a story like this, you can't lead a country. If you can be fragmented like this, you can't lead a country. And I'm sure this is what Britain saw long time ago and said you were not viable to lead yourself. Britain saw this. That is why they handed over administrative authority to La République du Cameroon, to the exchange of notes, to administer you until the day you mature. And when you mature, you take back that administrative authority because you never gave your sovereignty away. Do you understand? This is proof, and the whole community should hear me and hear me well. Britain saw this more than 60 years ago because these people are not dumb, and they understood that you will not be able. That's what they say, you are not viable. They knew it, and I'm seeing it today, and I agree with them 100%. Britain was right. If you were allowed, you'll be dead by now. And so don't be confused with the system of government you had under trusteeship system in Boya, under British supervision. You still had someone looking over you.
In other words, to have a real summit, to have a real process that will lead to an outcome, you need to have participants who represent somebody.
That is it. So you need to have participants, leadership structure that is trusted, that will lead to an outcome. Without that, you will fail. Try for the next 1,000 years. Again, if you still have hope in Amazonia, don't complain tomorrow and transfer the same yoke to your children and tell them you did your best, but the white people hate you. You did your best, but the white people hate you. They don't like you. No. You were inflexible to change. So let me read the message, story, the argument that we present before the international community. And this will make sense. And at least someone who thinks rationally can understand that you can go on to build a nation. I want to speak with clarity about something that has been misunderstood for too long. The idea that Cameroon once had a genuine federal system. Many people say, but after 1961 plebiscite, we joined a federation. Others say Foncha was prime minister, so we were part of the country. But if we look at history carefully, we will see the truth. A real federal system never truly existed. What existed was a federal system on paper, not in law and not in practice. And that truth changes everything for us. So let's be clear about what a true federal system is. In countries like the United States, Germany, or even Nigeria, each state has its own parliament, government, courts, police, and education system. That is what a federal system looks like. The central government only handles things like defense, foreign affairs, currency, and national coordination. A signed treaty or constitution legally defines this division of power. You get it? A signed union treaty, my people, legally defines this division of power. Neither side can change the agreement alone. If there was a federal system in Cameroon, you cannot break away. That is why Issa Chiruma shows up in Bamenda and labels Chris Anu a secessionist. That is their story before the UN, that there was a federal system in Cameroon that was abolished. That is what genuine federalism looks like. Shared power, signed agreement, and legal guarantees. Again, shared power, signed agreement, and legal guarantees. Without this, there's no federation. So this is what really happened in Cameroon. In Cameroon, that is not what happened. After the 1961 plebiscite, no legal union treaty was ever signed between Southern Cameroons, La République du Cameroun, and the United Kingdom. Doesn't exist. The Fumban Conference was just a discussion, not a binding treaty. The federal constitution was drafted unilaterally by La République du Cameroun. Key powers like the army, finances, foreign policy, and the courts were all controlled from Yaoundé. That is why you see they started infiltrating our system, because it was a gradual process to erase the Anglophone legal system. And they've done that with our schools. That's why you wake up and you go to a police station and the policeman is speaking French. That was the whole system. That is not a federation. West Cameroon's autonomy was more symbolic than real. So it was symbolic. Tackling this issue well will give us foundation even to build good businesses in the future and have a country that works. If we don't tackle this problem well, we are not competent to lead a country. And I don't blame any international organization that says, no, the story is not clear, go talk with Pobia. So, and just 11 years later, in 1972, the so-called federation was abolished overnight through a controversial referendum. The referendum was controversial. If the federal system was real, it could have not been destroyed by one man's decree. One man cannot dissolve a federal system. So this is not federalism, that is annexation wrapped in legal language. Why does this matter? Because the Treaty of Union was never signed, and because the federal structure was never real, the sovereignty of Southern Cameroons, the Tikar land, was never legally extinguished. The legal foundation of the union is missing. The structure they claimed existed was fake. And that is why today we have the legal, moral, and historical right to reclaim our future. Now, how others frame it versus how we should frame it before the international community and within our own communities. Some people say they colonized us again. These are stories, documents that our people have presented before the UN. Foncha betrayed us. That is what some say. France and Yaoundé stole our land. We just want independence as Ambazonians. But our message is different. The United Kingdoms of Tikar. We present a different story with maturity and clarity and depth. Not just blame. Anyone can blame. That is why we say the so-called federation was never real. There was no legal union treaty. There was no shared power. It was centralized control from day one. Therefore, our sovereignty was never lost, only suppressed. That's an argument that is sound, clear, and can persuade someone. This is not emotion. This is legal clarity. This is the kind of argument the world understands. This is the kind of argument the international community understands. So, this is the path forward. And this is why we are not simply reacting. We are restoring 553 years of lost history that we have lived under subjugation. We are not rewriting history. We are clarifying it. And once we speak with one voice, united under one vision, nothing can stop us. So don't run around blaming the white man. No, unite, get your act together, get your story clear. You will win. This is not about blame. This is about truth. And truth is the strongest foundation any nation can build on. So my brothers and sisters, for too long, the world has believed a lie about Cameroon's so-called federation. It is time to set the record straight. There was no genuine federal union. Take note of that word. There was no genuine federal union. There was no signed treaty. There was no legal surrender of our sovereignty. And there was no real division of power. Those are the key points. Note those points. There are four. There was no genuine federal union. There was no signed treaty. There was no legal surrender of our sovereignty. And there was no real division of power. And because of that, a federation never existed. The structure was fake, and that is why it collapsed. Our future begins with truth, and the truth is clear. A fake union cannot bind a people forever. That is why Thibaut Nagy said, as long as the Anglophones are still regarded as second-class citizens, this problem will resurface. Election, Issa Churuma, this is just temporary relief. I think that clarifies everyone. Don't be deceived. The world is not against you. The world does not hate black people. If you have believed that your entire life, get rid of that thinking. Your people don't like you. And when they make mistakes, they turn around and tell you the white man doesn't like you, just so they can hide their mistakes. And their argument is not sound and persuasive enough. And they use age, and they've convinced all of us. Most of these leaders came to power in their 30s. Most of them. You choosing age over wisdom, that is a choice you're making. You going out to take the bag of rice, that's a choice you're making. So don't blame God, and don't blame the white man. Don't even blame your leaders. Blame yourself because of how you think.